All right. Welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. That was the 30-second countdown given by StreamYard, which thought that was kind of cool. It's Amy said, why don't we just use that one, the 2-minute one that I came up with. So, yes, welcome 2022.
I only said that because the last two times that you've hosted, you fast forward through the 2-minute one. You're like, I don't want to hear
because we were late. Because Cesar was late.
Was I late? That wasn't late, was I?
Cesar
I was late today. I was late today.
No. I think the other ones we just kept talking. We were just walking and talking. We were talking about how many houses I live by, and then it was 7:04, 7:05, and yes, 6:00 where you're at. But okay, 2022 is here. We're ready. Mexican Soccer, the first one of 52. Right?
Because they're 52 weeks. Are we actually doing every week?
What if maybe?
What if
it's a World Cup year? We should.
That's true, actually.
We probably should have more than 52 because that's how we're at. So, we did. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, this is the first one. So, we were gonna have a Mexican Soccer Show last week, but we really didn't have a lot to talk about. So we decided let's just skip it. Okay, wait till Liga MX Men, week 1, and then start talking about it. So yes, for all of you that are joining us, hello. Let's see. First one to say hello is Digit Chaser. Hello, Digit Chaser. I don't think we've seen Digit Chaser at hello. So
it's probably someone's burner account. It's Tom Marshall's burner account.
If you're listening to us on, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Subscribe if you haven't already, and then also on Twitter. I think that's it. Hopefully, Amy, can we get on Twitch? Because that's what everyone's cool to.
Oh, I didn't talk to you about that, huh? Oh, we'll talk about that later. But sure, the answer is yes, we can.
That's what all the cool kids are doing, right?
Yes,
is this your way of saying that you're agreeing to do some gameplays with me at some point throughout the year? Like maybe we could play. We'll play whatever the cool kids are playing, whatever they're doing these days.
I suck at FIFA, so just
no, not FIFA.
Let's do Halo Infinite. I've been diving into Halo. That's been fun.
Dude, I played some Mad Hitman the other day. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
PUBG.
I was gonna suggest Among Us, but sure, we can do.
That's also good. Is that now old news?
Nike's Among Us. Okay. Victor saying, "Let 2022 be the year of El Tri. Happy New Year, guy." Victor, perfect. Come on, this is a great way to start. Let's start positive because last year sucked. If you remember our last show so we'll be good. Okay. For those of you guys that love to put the comments on here, there's some of you on there that I love to put the comments, but you have a really bad name. Like there's some that we're like
we're keeping it PG over here.
We're keeping it
PG-13.
Maybe PG-13.
PG-13?
So,
okay.
Maybe PG-13. But look, give normal names. Luis Ayala. I'm here for the Chivas talk. Oh, the Chivas talk. Scores finally 3 goals. When was the last time Chivas scored 3 goals? I don't remember. But we'll talk about it.
I don't know, but I owe a lot of my TikTok clout to Chivas. So
yes. If you don't know, Amy's got a hilarious TikTok which just bashes pretty much Chivas on there, and I grace with a TikTok about me here and there. But yeah,
I guess I need to get TikTok. Nice. I don't know.
Which TikTok?
I'm already overwhelmed by that. Jesus.
Great. All right. So today, what we're talking about, we didn't have in the rundown that Amy sent us really talk about anything in the national team, but I wanted to ask, since it's a World Cup year, just a quick conversation, 2022. Do you feel like the World Cup is right around the corner, or is it because it's in November? You're like, we still got a while.
It's weird, right? Like it definitely feels weird because of
the date. Feel like a World Cup
yeah, it doesn't. I think it'll start feeling a little more. I know, like close maybe once the summer rolls around, because I feel like that is like when you kind of like really dive into it. The weather starts getting a little bit warm, and you're like, all right, we're gonna get this like summer World Cup. But just because it's in the winter, and because it's at the end of the year, and because I don't know, maybe because for outside of soccer, 2021 was so difficult. You go into 2022, and you kind of it's tough to feel excited about something that's that far into the future, but yeah, no, it feels a little odd, especially since Mexico didn't close out 2021 on a good note. So it's like I don't think I'll really get that excitement about the World Cup until Mexico gets another win or two. Let's just say that.
I also feel like the current state of things doesn't make you hope. Like, for what it's worth, the way that
I was
things
gonna say that.
they're not going to cancel it in theory, right?
Right.
They're not going to cancel it.
But
they could, and it's in the back of your mind. So you go, do I really want to look forward to something that could potentially not happen?
Right, exactly.
And then like Cesar said, you kind of just go. Adriana said it best when we recorded the Our Football pod last week. She's like, they're going to do enough to get there.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of hope in after enough. And I feel like that's where I'm at, where I'm like, I don't want them to not qualify. And I don't think they won't qualify, but I'm just kind of feeling very blech about, how they've kind of been.
It was the way that they closed out the year. It's difficult to feel really excited about El Tri right now for the men's side. Femenil, obviously, it was the reverse. You're feeling more excited about El Tri Femenil, but for the men's side, it was just the way that they closed out the year. It just kind of felt like they kind of stumbled over the line, and that they're probably going to get the job done. But I think until they get like another win or two, I think I'll start feeling a little more optimistic in this World Cup year.
Mexico won a game.
When was the last time they won a game? I mean,
didn't they beat Honduras?
So we should actually.
We got those ties against Ecuador.
That's one of those basic questions.
They lost against Ecuador and Charlotte.
Oh yeah, no, lost against Ecuador, but tied against Chile.
Those are one of those basic questions that all three of us should immediately know, but we have to think about. It was against El Salvador in October. The 2-0 win away.
So yeah, I think it's 2022, and because of everything that's happened with like COVID coming back, spiking. FYI, I tested positive for COVID last week after traveling like 22 different places around the year, being in stadiums, being outside, wearing my mask. All of a sudden, a family member during Christmas gave me COVID.
Oof,
New Year's gave me COVID, and not to their fault. They got it at work. So, and it just kind of like dampens to the beginning of 22. I'm okay. Had just a weird headache and felt kind of weak. But yeah, now I'm now recovering. I should be fine in the next few days as far as but I've been in quarantine, and it just kind of gives you like, okay, especially after what happened over the New Year's, and now, athletes, it's just still lingering in there. It's been almost, we've had these discussions for the last year, and we're just kind of like, man. And they could even now it's spilling over into, for example, the league. I was looking at how many goals were scored over the last weekend, and it's like it feels everyone's still not. It's like this pause. If it's players not playing 100%, we're looking at Mexicans abroad. COVID related now has had affecting some of our players. Is just continuing to be this weird place to be a fan of sports. You want it to keep going, but players are humans.
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's definitely tough. At the very least, the Chivas did get the 3 goals right there against Mazatlan. So they scored. They definitely scored. But hopefully, if we talk about El Tri, we'll see a few more goals up there for whether it be Raul Jimenez or Funes Mori in support, whether it be perhaps maybe a rejuvenated Tecatito, who actually got some minutes recently for Porto, but it looked like he wasn't exactly at his best. I don't know. Once again, you still have your I just opening up this like Pandora's box of feelings about El Tri now. We should probably close it really quickly before I just keep rambling a little too much about El Tri and my issues with them.
What do you want to happen with El Tri? And Luis Ayala saying, is this an anti-Tata safe space? Oh.
No, the thing is, like, I still like, I think we still have to, I don't know, we have to be patient with Tata's system this year. I think that it's fair to start criticizing him, and I think I think some of that criticism was justified late last year. But I think that, I don't know, I think and I've talked about this already a few times, I think once you incorporate maybe a few new faces into the system, I'm not saying they have to immediately go into the starting 11, but maybe some options off the bench. I think when you've had a break from was definitely a rough end to 2021. I think things are looking promising for them, especially as we've talked about too. You look at the opponents, you look at how many games are at home, you look at what I'm going to say is just the benefit of not having fans at a couple of those games, because we know how they can kind of get. I think Mexico will be fine. I think all three will qualify for the World Cup, but I'm holding. I'm optimistic, but we'll see what happens.
And we're sure going to do a preview before the games coming up against Jamaica, against Costa Rica, against Panama. That's coming up. The 3 games, by the way, at the end of this month. Right now, players are getting their cards to see if they're going to play with Mexico. Hopefully, we'll see some new faces on there. That's what Cesar is saying. But just putting this thought out there, at what point are you like, okay, Tata, you're done, Cesar? Like, to you, you're going against Jamaica. Remember, the U.S. couldn't get a win in Jamaica. Jamaica is now looking a little better. You lose against Jamaica, and you lose one of the games in Azteca. That's it? That you're done? Or
no, I don't. Are you real? I think it'd be more dangerous. I know, as historic as that would be, like, qualifying is going to end by March. Like, is it? I think that'd be much more risky. Even if that, and I don't expect this to happen. I don't believe it will happen. But say Mexico loses to Jamaica, say they lose to Costa Rica and Panama. Like, do you really try to bring in a new manager in that short span for the March window for those last 3 games? And especially because that new manager would have to deal with a game against the U.S. I know it's going to be at the Azteca. I know that's when fans will be allowed to be in attendance, but I think that'd be more of a risk. I think that'd be much more of a risk to kind of like start a new project and kind of, I don't know, kind of refresh it with three games in March, 1 against the U.S., 1 away against Honduras, and then 1 home at El Salvador. I think that'd be much more risky, and I think whether fans like it or not, whether we like it or not, I think that's sticking through.
But
I
that's
think
what I'm saying. Like, before, it was too early. He didn't warrant somebody. And now the excuse is, well, it's too late. So did we make a mistake by not firing him before? I think that yes, like I said, he should be criticized for some of those late substitutes, for some of those tactical issues in recent games in late 2021. But I think it'd be more of a risk right now to drop him than to bring someone in. And of course, the conversation is, as we've talked about before numerous times, who would you bring in? I know, and I think that, yeah. It's just that the 3 losses against the U.S., the trophies that are lost over the summer, you're losing against Del Point. Now you're losing at home. It's everything. Like, everything you're not supposed to do, I think he does. I think it's, even if you bring in Piojo, if you bring in Vasco Aguirre, whoever, after that, just it's 2013 all over again. Amy, Mexico loses against Jamaica, and then 1 game against Costa Rica or Panama. Is that the out for you?
I have just I don't know how to make this like register. Like, my belief in them is not enough. Like, it's not deteriorated so far where I'm like, I don't care about anything that happens to them anymore. That's not the case at all. They'll do enough. I have that like now tattooed in my brain from what Adriana said, but like, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, because you do go, okay, are they going to win away against Jamaica? Like, how much faith do you actually have outside of anything on paper, or just like tactically? You just go, do they even have like the will? Like, did they all come back from New Year's and want to play well, sort of thing? But that's just me ranting at this point. I think if you play bad, like, yeah, I think you're right, Wiso. Like, at this point, you've done everything you're not supposed to do. So what other choice do you have when it's like, you're kind of failing in every aspect of what the expectations were for you as a manager? But then you go, okay, but who do you bring in if you have to get rid of them?
I think that's the big issue, is who do you bring in? But the thing is, like, that's a new manager and a new system.
We're not here to. This is just to win 3 games to get us into the World Cup. Remember, this is not going forward. I'm like, bring in someone temporary. It's definitely not that, because there's nothing like these are. Where can you argue?
But then the question goes: can you even argue that it's a coach's problem, a coaching problem? Yeah. What if you bring someone in? What if you bring someone in and the players are still
Well, yeah, it is. It's a coaching problem. It's a coaching problem because you're going to bring in the players. It's always a coaching problem. That's why they get paid.
Well, I think the player, like a lot of the players, aren't at a good moment either. And as we've seen more and more young
like their clubs.
I mean, but the thing is, like when you're looking at the CONCACAF region, you see a lot more young talent being sent over to Europe from Canada and the US, and they're getting minutes at promising clubs. They're looking good. And meanwhile, I mean, someone asked, in the chat, Luis, is it worrying that our players are transferring teams within Liga MX and not out to Europe? And I would say yes, most definitely. You know what?
We know why.
We know why
it's not happening.
Right. But it is still worrying. We know why, but it is still...
Yeah, it is worrying, but we can't compare ourselves to the US and Canada and other regions that are...
Unfortunately, those are the teams supporting. Mexico has to be in World Cup qualifying though. So those comparisons are inevitable.
I think you can be aware of the dynamics that stifle Mexico's ability to do it at the rate that the US and Canada are doing and still go. Like there has to be a way still for them to, like, you can have that discussion in regards about the players and being like, okay, why won't you? Well, it's difficult, and you understand the dynamics of sometimes it's not even the players, it's the teams and their inflated rates and all that stuff, and that completely makes sense. But you do have that discussion of like, okay, but why won't anybody kind of, why can't there be more Oberlins in a sense? Where it's like one out of every 5 for competing CONCACAF countries that are now being exported.
But there's a look. I'm with anybody that wants more players in Europe, right? But it's harder for our players to go to Europe because of the overvalued players, because of the league is better. So it's like here we are saying that the league is way better than MLS and it's won 16-20. But that's the drawback is that players are going to stay there because they're paying players more. Players are going to stay there because it's a lot harder for them to get to Europe. Like it's happening. I mean,
yeah, and I think that's also not talked about enough too. Just like I do want more players to go to Europe, and I recognize it's not just the players in the clubs. You need a lot of things to work in order for these players to go abroad. Sometimes the players want to stay justifiably because financial reasons. Living a comfortable life in your home country, getting paid decent money. Yeah, maybe I would do the same thing too, not go to Europe. And also with club teams, because there are high transfer values, you want to return on that investment. And sometimes the only other teams that'll be willing to make that purchase or sale will be another Liga MX team as opposed to a European team. But that said, but that said, it is still worse. But like I was saying, I think the one conversation which isn't being had enough is that, I think going forward, at least in the near future, I'm not saying in the long term, but in the near future, that means that teams in Liga MX will continue to hold on to that talent and they'll continue to dominate the CCL. They'll do well in Leagues Cup. They'll continue to go to Club World Cup. And those are fantastic experiences. Those are excellent moments for Mexican soccer, but that comes at a cost, and we aren't seeing enough players going abroad. But at the very least, for I guess it depends. If you're more for club than country, then what's happening in Liga MX isn't that big of a deal. But if you're more country over club, then you worry about El Tri, and you're like, well, Liga MX is strong, but you still want players to take chances and go abroad and play for bigger teams.
No, and I think, like I said, I think everybody could sign that we need more players. Stevan say more players in Europe won't necessarily mean more success for our national team. That was true. I mean, since 1986, we've been doing the same thing that we've been doing in every World Cup, regardless if we had players in Europe or not. Right? We had
obviously it would help though if we had players like for like Liverpool or like Chelsea or like I don't know, like Juve. That's not going to hurt Mexico, right? It's not going to hurt them by having.
No, I'm not saying that. Okay. Again, it's like this continuing discussion of how are we measuring ourselves, right? Do we expect Mexico to be a semifinals World Cup anytime soon? No. Anybody that says that, it's like, let's get to the level. Belgium, who has amazing players, is not going to get in the semifinal in the World Cup, or has not. It's like, it takes a lot.
You pissed off Canadians in 2021, you start pissing off the Belgians in 2022.
All of our Belgian listeners.
So
somewhere out of the Aga, just he's like, you know what? I'm done with this podcast. Like,
no, I'm just saying, like, maybe.
Ooh, the Belgians froze Wiso.
Oh dang! I didn't realize they had that kind of power.
You never know with the Belgians.
Our players are not playing in the best leagues. Our coaches are not coaching in the best leagues. Like, we're going to be a top 16 team for a while. And maybe the U.S. is having a great run with players because they missed the World Cup and they were forced to give young players a chance, right? Maybe Canada's got a great generation, but we'll see. All right, let's talk about Liga MX because I know people are wanting to. This is why Bado is here from Chivas del Norte. If you're a Chivas fan and you want to listen to a great podcast, our friends at Chivas del Norte are there. Amy is an honorary member of Chivas. Somebody said that I'm also too part of a Chivas hermano, but no, I don't mind. I always say when Chivas are doing well, the national team does well. So I don't mind Chivas doing well. But that being said,
looking good, right?
After back-to-back titles with.
Wait, so actually, imagine if that happened. So, like, Tata qualifies to the World Cup, and then he's prepping L3, and then FMF's like, you know what, Lan, you got the 2 titles there. So you know what? I think what is it? Is it 14 days? Is that the difference between the Liga MX final and the start of the World Cup? So just 14 days for Leandro.
When is the end of the clausura?
There's I think there's only a month between the end of the clausura and the beginning of the apertura.
The end of the clausura is May 29th.
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
So does everything get pushed?
Yeah, it's gonna start. It's if I remember correctly. I forget the exact dates, but I think it's for the teams that are in the final in the, I guess that'd be the 2022 Apertura. I think it's the teams in the final would get about 14 days to prep for the World Cup. But no.
Sorry, I'm reading. Liga MX cares about making money, and they're doing without having sent players. Look, all leagues care about making money. Everyone cares about making money. If you can make money and win, right.
But Chivas, I mean, it was an incredible start to the season for them. I know you looked at the winter transfer market and you're like, all right, Cruz Azul are doing some interesting stuff. Tigres are doing some interesting stuff. And then you're like, all right, Chivas, all they've done is bring in, Alvarado. And not saying he's a bad player. Roberto Alvarado is a fantastic player. Someone who should be speaking Europe, should be playing in Europe. But you're thinking like, is this enough? Like, it feels like they need a little bit more. You thought maybe some more reinforcements for a team. No, but like for a team that finished in 10th place last season, and it's not just Alvarado, but like when you saw some of the talent that they shed as well, you're like, okay, how is this going to work out? But it was an incredible start to the season for them, and by an incredible start, it was. That is important. That is important to bring up too. It wasn't as if Mazatlan had a lot to offer against Chivas, but still, it was.
Chivas fan because they just go. They like if there's anybody, is there a fan base that just hypes every win? And I get it because he doesn't. You don't get these very often, man. And I know, and the thing is that they know it's not that big a deal, but they're gonna hype it up as much. And when you lose,
I think they can. I think they're allowed to hype it up, though. I think that especially with the struggle, the struggles that they had last season. I think with the struggles that they had last season, especially with
But even if let me just put. What was the worst team last season?
That was Xolos, definitely.
Okay, Xolos beats Mazatlan in the first week, 3-0. People are gonna go, well, we'll see what happens. Like you're not.
No, actually, I think people would be like, I think people would say, well, there's something interesting going on here about Xolos. I think that's how it would be. And the thing is just, I think what's exciting for Chivas is you had someone like Alexis Vega with a goal and assist in that match. Incredible golazo, especially Alan Torres too. Lalo Torres had an incredible golazo. Mm-hmm. Vega after scoring, signaling that he's not leaving. Essentially, he was like, forgot if he kissed the badge or not, but he was just like,
he did both.
Yeah, that's right. He was just pointing down and being like, "Yeah, I'm staying." After the rumors,
you should go to Europe.
Well, it wasn't going to be a year. I mean, there are rumors that Rayados wanted to pay like 3 times his salary, if you believe the rumors about that. But I don't know. I think that there was a little more that you could ask from them in that game. So I think it's a good sign. And I don't know. Obviously, yeah, we don't want to run away with it and be like, Chivas, they're gonna fight for the title.
No,
but
do you see them making the Liguilla?
Yeah, I definitely see them making the Liguilla.
Actually, with the do you see them making it straight up or in the repechaje?
Okay, yeah. See, now you're conflating it a little bit, Cesar. Like, I think you have to. I think you need to
Cesar's
slow
already got Chivas in the top 8 of Liga MX after.
I'm not
3-0.
Just technically top 4. Technically top 4.
I'm not saying they're a top 4 team. I'm not saying they're going to be a top 4 team. You're asking if they're going to qualify for playoffs. Yeah.
No. Are they going to qualify without
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. No, I don't. I think they have to. They're a wild card team. So yeah,
they get a wild card.
Yeah, no, I think that's okay.
I think that's a fair assessment. The Chivas del Norte guys on their podcast said, "Hey, top 8 is like sufficient. Like it's like a successful season if they manage to make the top 8." This time around. So I think that is a fair thing to say.
I think they're a top 8 team. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, top
8 is fine. Yeah, which means that they're going to qualify via repechaje. I don't see them being a top 4 team where they just automatically get.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a top 4 team.
Isn't repechaje until 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the 4 top teams have a bye.
They're a top 12 team.
No, they're still a top 8. Like they'll still. Like they're a home team for the repechaje.
Semantics over here. We're just arguing about like what's gonna. They're gonna finish. Right, they're gonna be a wild card team, but they'll be 6th through like 8th. Okay.
Let me put it this way: do they beat Pachuca next week?
I don't know because Pachuca. I mean, we have our. Well, the thing is, I think Pachuca will be a surprise team, though. I think that's gonna be a draw. Pachuca always get.
Pachuca did not impress, but they got the win, and it's like, okay, they're going to be a good team. Now we're looking at Chivas, like this is where I go. Chivas.
Okay, but I think I think that there is a fairness in going. Okay, you can't hyperbolize this win, but still go. Okay, they might have some difficulty. I think more than anything else, this was like a statement win. This caused morale for everybody involved, for the fans, and let's not forget they had their own dramatic off the field Twitter like fire burning, like just like 3 days prior to this match.
Yeah,
like everybody was mad at ownership. Everybody was mad that there were no significant moves during the off season. So I think that it's like good for them, or like it makes sense that like people are happy that they actually won. Like it wasn't like a massacre or anything.
I think this has got to be battle, right? Yeah, 7 through 9 is realistic. 4 to 6 after last night.
Yeah, I think 7. I think the thing is 7 through 9. That's progress for Chivas after they finish.
At the end of the day, when it comes to institutions, Chivas is obviously a huge one. So for them to come out and win 3-0 against whoever it is in their first game of the season means something. They're not America tying 1-1. Like when you compare it in that sense. That's where I think the significance comes into play. Are they going to suddenly win the title or go undefeated for the season? No, but
it's going to be tough. Yeah.
I will say that thanks to Chivas, it made this Liga MX weekend, it's like a positive. You're like, Chivas scoring 3 goals. Alexis Vegas with the goal. Like it was like, okay, this is a good weekend for Mexicans in Liga.
Yeah, no.
Liga.
Yeah, and especially too, because if that was a 1-0 win, if that was a draw, I think one of the bigger talking points would be what we saw from last season. It's just like, oh, there's a lack of goals. Is this the boring league? Are these players now tired? Is it COVID? Is it the condensed schedule? It's just like, I think that would have been one of the talking points. So by Chivas getting that 3-0 win, it kind of, it also kind of gives you hope that you're just like, oh, I think personally me too. It's like, oh, maybe this season will be a little more exciting and we'll have more multi-goal games. Cause last season, for a number of reasons, we just didn't get a lot of that.
The other Liga MX, I would say the other team that I would say did well is Cruz Azul, but they also beat a bad Xolos.
Yeah, no, actually, Xolos were, I thought they were actually kind of okay in that game.
That's another statement victory, though. I mean, Charlie Rodriguez got signed over there, scores a goal. Like, there's significant movement.
I give more credit. I give more credit to to Cruz Azul beating Cholos than Chivas beating Mazatlan. Cruz Azul, with all the changes, the transitions, like, everyone wants to see the soup. Like, it's a great team. All the changes that are coming in, and now with Charlie Rodriguez, I was excited to see how that team would play, especially the first game. So I give them a little more credit. Again, the two teams that lost, I would think that they're the worst teams that are from the Mazatlan and Cholos, but we'll see.
Juarez might be. I think that's another pretty bad contender. But so you do have a good point. I mean, good point there about giving Cruz Azul some credit there too, because I thought Xolos made things a little more difficult for Cruz Azul than Mazatlan made things more difficult for Chivas. And I thought Xolos like kind of had their chances. I thought they were decent, but I don't know. Cruz Azul were more efficient, and like you said, I mean, just it was kind of a mixed bag for Cruz Azul over the winter transfer market. Yeah, they made big signings, but they also dropped some big players, and you weren't sure how it was going to work out. But Charlie Rodriguez, fantastic, decent performance from Eric Lida. Not bad from Antuna, but I mean, they just threw him into the starting 11. So yeah, that looks good for Cruz Azul.
It'd be interesting to see how Cruz Azul does in the playing style.
I agree, especially when it comes to Antuna. I have seen this since Galaxy. I just want somebody to figure out the fact that you get more if you make him do less. And he did not do that at Chivas at all. Like, he is not going to fix your team by any shape, way, or form. But he can be.
I think the team will play differently with Antuna, though. So, and especially
I'm very interested to see how they play.
Being like a team that's playing out in the wings a lot more than what Cruz Azul was playing for. So.
And are you saying that what Cruz Azul need is obviously they're going to sign Zlatan now, and then we're going to have the Zlatan Antuna connection up top? Okay.
Wasn't Cruz Azul also rumored to be chasing Pavon at some point?
Yeah. Apparently they're not done making signings. Apparently they still could bring on Pavon or some other players. I think a striker would be another striker would be good for them. And the transfer market doesn't close until February 1st, I think. Yeah, so the team still have some time to make some signings and moves.
I guess for the positive Liga MX, Cruz Azul and America. Changing over to the stinkers of the weekend, would we say they're more disappointed about America, or are you more disappointed about Rayados?
I think America, but America was also full of just chaotic events. I just wanted, when's the last time you saw a coach run into the field?
It was so confusing. Why? Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like there was like
was it an America thing?
This is strictly an America thing. Like you're that pissed off. You're gonna go run in. By the way, did they say how many games he gets to get suspended?
Not yet, but I'm curious because it could be more than one. I'm still waiting on this. Yeah,
It has to be more than one game. Like
it was weird though, because like I tweeted out about it, but just like the way that I would have described Solari in the past is like he's level-headed. He's almost too cautious and calm with the way that America plays sometimes, and then like 30 minutes into the first half of the first game of the season, and he's like approaching the ref, and like, was he just reading all like everybody's like tweets like criticizing him for being like too cautious? And was he just like, oh, so you want Piojo, huh? All right, I'm just gonna like charge up to the referee and get an immediate red.
You get a goal. It's 1-0 the very first game, like away. Right? Things are looking good for America against Puebla. And right after that, it's like red card, and then to get the game sent off, and then you get tied, and then the game was just crap after that.
Can you imagine? So like he's in the locker room, and then like minutes afterwards, like Roger Martinez walks in, and he's like, "Oh my God."
By the way, Roger Martinez now has 5 red cards as a striker.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Since 2018.
Yeah. Huh.
Which around the world, have you ever remembered a striker getting 5 red cards?
Yeah. That's interesting.
I could see defenders. I could see midfield. A striker getting 5 cards in the team in the last 3 years. Like, there's a problem there.
Yeah, and the thing is with America Feminine, it looks like I think they just scored. The problem with America is that the we all know that the expectations are very, very high for that club. We all know that they're almost too high. And after 2 seasons without winning a title, I think fans are really, really like calling for Solari to be pushing for that title this season. And literally, this was the worst start he could have had for him personally. Obviously, they still got that away point, but by getting a red in your first game of the season, in a season where your fans and potentially ownership aren't going to have much more patience with you if you don't win a title, that's just not a good sign. I know they're still waiting on Jonah dos Santos to be worked into the team. Obviously, Diego Valdez to be worked in the team. That could potentially solve some things, but that's just not an ideal start to the season.
Especially when you think about, I think one of the things that people have been really impatient with Solari is there doesn't seem to be like a real identity with the team on the field. Like it doesn't seem to be working. And I as an America fan, if you will, I've kind of been like, okay, well, he's still trying to find his form. Like, let's see what happens. Give him one more season. Like you said, this is like the worst start because not only does he lose his cool, but even when he's gone, it like nothing seems to be working. They're down a player, obviously, so Bola has the advantage, but like it doesn't seem as though they know what to do regardless of the fact and are struggling to even kind of almost keep the draw. And it's just like it was a just like we're saying, like maybe not hyperbolize a 3-0 victory, and it's going to be slightly contradictive of that. But when you look at this, you go, once again, this doesn't feel like a title winning team. Like this doesn't seem like a team when it matters, right? When it comes to the single elimination matches or matches where you really have to push within the course of, like 90 minutes, it doesn't seem like they're looking like they're going to do that. Obviously, he lost a few players due to COVID. He doesn't have Valdez. He doesn't have Jonah just yet. I'm very interested to see what happens with Jonah. By the way, it wasn't like he's at his peak performance over a Galaxy. So you can only wonder how he's going to, integrate him into the team and what kind of style he's going to have, how many minutes he's going to be playing. But yeah,
Ochoa was good.
Yeah, no, Ochoa was definitely he made a late save. Actually, I mean, America were lucky to have that draw because Ochoa made a couple big saves there late into the match, and obviously, makes sense when America are down a player. But yeah, no, Ochoa was decent. I thought Pedro Aquino was decent in the midfield, basically having to do a lot of work with it for a 10-man America. But that is curious to me about like Jonah, because it's not as if Jonah was 100% fit like the last season or two. It felt like every single time I'd be like checking in on a Galaxy game, it'd be like, oh, Jonah has this injury worry, Jonah has that injury worry. If that continues, I don't know. That means that he might not be able to fix all the problems for America if he still has some injury issues.
And even regardless of the injury issues, even the way that he would play in the matches, like Galaxy at that point were I don't know so much about the front office, but I think fans and those who covered the team were ready for him to leave. His contract was going to be up, and it was almost like they were counting down the days until he was no longer an option to play on the field, because the pace was off. It wasn't his greatest season. So I don't know. I mean, obviously there's speculation about why he joined the team and how it's going to be involved. But I'm obviously Gio was a bust, right? We know that continuously happens. Gio comes and Jonah's probably going to follow like 2 seasons or so later. But Gio was a bust. You can't help but wonder how Jonah's going to do and whether or not he's going to be a bust as well.
I will say that I think I have higher expectations for Jonah than Gio right now. I mean, obviously Gio, he probably has certain salary like demands that a lot of Liga MX teams might not be able to offer him, or MLS teams. So he continues to be a free agent. But I think Jonah still offers a little bit more than Gio. But yeah, obviously things haven't been.
Gio. Sorry, my internet was cutting out.
Gio cut off his internet too.
It's pretty fun.
All right. There's 3 games that are still, I think, tonight. There's a game that the game that was rescheduled.
And then
been so wrapped up with the college championship game, missed the start. Happy New Year's.
Did you bet on that game, Wiso?
No, I haven't bet since last year. I'm taking my winnings and putting money down for World Cup tickets. Actually,
Nice.
No. But
I bet $5 on Alabama, so I don't know what any of that means. But
wait, isn't Alabama favored?
No, I bet with my dad.
I was gonna say, I thought it was illegal. I thought it was illegal to. Yeah, I thought it was illegal to do sports betting in California.
I'm not betting.
Arizona made like $755 billion or something like that over the last year because of betting. People are crazy.
Did you see that Give Down Araike put down? I think it was like $500 for the Raiders and Chargers game to end in a tie in overtime.
Wasn't he about to win like?
No. I think he just had to end in a tie of the game, and then.
No, it said with over. Remember, it said like with or like with overtime, and he would have won like 40. He would have won like 45,000 or something like that. Yeah, but anywho, I'm not sure how we got here.
It's Happy New Year. Yes, Happy New Year. All right. Let's play a little game called Let's Predict What Happens in Liga MX in this clausura. So
Among Us.
Going by to the things that we need to predict for all three of us, right? Who wins? As you saw now 1 week for Liga MX. Who's your Clausura 2022? Is it still Grita Mexico? Or are they calling something else?
It is Grita Mexico. C22.
Okay.
CL22.
Grita Mexico. Clausura 2022 winner is Amy.
Who did we say? Didn't we want like Querétaro to win?
No, I wanted Puebla and Querétaro.
You wanted Puebla to win, yeah.
Which, showing against America that they could beat them with 10 men, kind of disappointing. But, all right, so who's your winner? No, and don't like who do we want? Like who do you think is gonna win? Give me a straight answer.
I'll go based off of only first week.
No, first week.
So based off of. If it's only first week, then it's Chivas. Congratulations, Chivas. You got it. Well done. 3 goals. Goal differential.
We're good.
No, but I'm saying, like looking at the first week plus taking in objective consideration, I go Cruz Azul.
Okay. That's a decent. Yeah, that's a decent shout. They'd be my number 2 team. I think Cruz Azul are my number 2 team.
Is Tigres your number 1 team, Cesar?
So here's the thing. The funny thing is, people.
This is the thing is, I think Tigres is finally like it's been taking a while.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Sorry. I don't want.
I'll say people were criticizing me last season, the season before that I wasn't predicting Tigres because of the season, all of 2021. I was like, no, it's not going to be Tigres. It's not going to be Tigres. Now 2022, you bring in Cordova, you bring in Angulo. You assume Florian Thauvin will now have more time to adjust, and obviously you have an incredibly stacked roster. So I think you have to look towards them. I don't know. It's got to be Tigres. Yeah.
Not to mention, Mr. Liguilla is not injured anymore.
Yeah, and they're no longer involved in the Olympics and whatnot. So I think it's going to be Tigres. But Cruz Azul, my number 2 though.
3 goals. He only scored 3 goals last year.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Tigres. I don't do this often, but I think Leon.
Oh.
I don't ever.
They haven't even played.
Huh?
Well, Tigres. To be fair, Tigres haven't played yet either, and I chose them.
Yeah, Tigres hasn't played. It's what we're starting to see. I think.
It's what your heart feels. It's fine.
No, but I'm like, okay, this is normally I don't feel this after what happened last season. It was just Atlas and kicks and penalty kicks. I'm like, okay, Leon is a really good team. Yeah. The only team that can stand away to beat Leon is Tigres. That's how I'm seeing it.
And the thing is, like, they have. I mean, you can't argue with the fact that they've shown up in 3 finals in the last like 2 or 3 years. They have a championship. Whether people want to make a big deal about it or not, they also won the League's Cup, and that's even though that's it's not a massive big deal, but that's still something worth highlighting. So
they're hanging it on the mantle. It counts.
But they show up to finals. They show up to finals, so they'll be in the running. They'll definitely be in the running.
I think Leon does everything to get in, get home field, and I would have to pick Leon. To you guys.
Wait, you don't think Atlas goes for the 2-peat?
No,
that's tough.
No,
they'll do well, but I don't. It's gonna be rough against some of these.
No,
teams.
I think it's really hard to win. The only last team that did it is Leon, but I think it's hard. I think it's really hard to do.
It's not for everybody, apparently.
It's not for everybody.
I think America will still be in the running, though. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Wiso.
Who wins the scoring title?
You mean the golden boot winner?
Yes. Is it called the golden boots? Yeah.
I think it's going to be Funes Mori.
He played over the weekend.
So Funes Mori, he already has plenty of support in that stack team, and I think once Luis Romo is ready, I mean that's be someone who could provide a number of chance creation, and alongside like Ponchito, like Gonzalez, he's also a great playmaker. So I think yes, there's gonna be a lot of criticism for him because he's gonna miss big chances. That's just a part of Funes Mori, but he'll score those crucial goals, and he's going to have a lot of opportunities. I think Funes Mori is a fantastic player, a fantastic striker, but I think the reason why is just because he's been given a lot of service and a lot of delivery up top. So I think it's gonna be Funes Mori.
Cesar, Funes Mori gets the golden boot.
Yeah.
Benches Raul Jimenez on the national team. Then
I'm not saying that.
He is the best Mexican player.
No, I'm not saying that.
There is repercussions. If this guy gets the most, that means.
No. Hey, Raul Jimenez got assists.
Mori, after he got the Chupete Suazo goal, has done nothing. I think he had like 9 goals starting out last season, and then all the pressure got to him. Monterrey has not scored at home since September. It's tough. It's tough. Amy, to you, do you want to put in a golden boot winner?
Ariel and Tuna. No. This is a good question.
Should we give you? We got Diente Lopez, Angel Mena, Julio Furch.
I don't have an answer. I'll come back to this one.
Coming back.
Who?
Please. I said Gignac. Gignac's due to score a lot of goals soon.
Yeah, I think he's definitely due for a lot of goals. And like Funes Mori, he's gonna have lots of support up there.
I think so. Diente Lopez. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Who will be your surprise team?
I already mentioned it earlier, but I think it's going to be Pachuca. No, not Tijuana. But I mean, obviously the big talk of the weekend was Chivas and Cruz Azul and America falling apart. But I like what.
That was going to be my serious answer, not Saldivar. I was going to say maybe Vega, maybe.
No, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes, but the scoring time, like someone could win it with like 8 or 9 sometimes.
Also, didn't the men only get like who was the lead goal scorer for last season for the men? Didn't they only score like 9 goals? Wasn't it so bad on the men's side that like their top 5 included people that only scored like 4 or 5 goals?
Probably. Yeah, there was definitely a low amount, and like you could definitely win the scoring title. Yeah, because we look at the scoring title.
Unfortunately, it's fine.
but for
how many goals did Licha have?
I think she had 19, 20.
Oof. Wow.
Give or take. Yeah.
The
bar is low for men, but what else?
but yeah, surprise team Pachuca. I immediately like how they looked under Almada, but I think it's an excellent managerial pickup. He had some exciting young U22 names like Kevin Alvarez, Daniel Aceves, Eric Sanchez, who were really good on the recent game. And according to Ahmad in the post-game press conference, he's going to continue to give those chances to young players like them. So I'm saying Pachuca or Toluca, because I think they had an interesting transfer window. So yeah, but I'll stick with Pachuca though.
Surprise, Amy.
I think it might be Chivas.
Oh, okay.
But surprise is very subjective, so that just means like maybe they'll do better. Maybe they'll do better than what they did last year, and that's not that hard to complete. So
are you saying that's just like we finished in last? Surprise, like hey.
No. Surprise is good.
Yeah, I'm assuming surprise. So I'm gonna go with Chivas. I think they'll do better than they did last year, but it won't. Like it'll be a surprise where it's like it's just like, good for you kind of thing. I think Chivas might be able to do.
Okay, I like it.
Maybe they finish in 6th or something,
or top 4.
No, they're not finishing top 4.
I think Toluca's finally for me is been making some changes, serious, and I think will be a surprise this year. Coming back, the old Toluca, but we'll see what I can do. It's hard because you expect Monterrey to be Monterrey. You expect America to do well. Leon's doing well. Atlas obviously now in the mix. Santos always does, decent. So it's like it's kind of hard to put a dark horse on there. Did anybody last year say Atlas? No, right? Although I did say Atlas was going to be a lot.
Didn't you say Atlas? But haven't you been saying Atlas for like the last 3 seasons? So
no. As soon as Julio Furch got in there, and then knowing the inside and outs of Atlas, my friend Tom over here, I was like, dude, it's happening. But okay, all right, and Decepcion, like who's just like, gosh, this is embarrassing. I can't believe this isn't the team that
America.
God, we should like Chivas, America, like man.
I'm so upset at my team.
I think
already the Decepcion after one jornada, it's like it's already done.
I think it's relative though. Like I still think America are going to qualify for the playoffs, and that's like okay.
They'll finish in like 3rd. Well, you forget they finished 1st, and I was still like they're not a title winning team by any means, like at all. I said the
schedule, man.
It
favors them. It favors that you can just all the tough teams towards kind of the middle, towards the end because of TV ratings, and then you're getting into the repechaje and for like it sucks when you're a Televisa's team. I'm gonna go with
America cut him off. America cut him off. Just everybody just pulling the plug on Wiso today.
I guess I'll say mine then. I think it's gonna be Monterrey for the same reason, kind of related to America. I think.
You think Monterrey is gonna be an upset this season?
Or they're gonna let their fans down, and because I think like America, I think the expectations would be too high, especially with Pizarro stepping in. And I think
are they really that high? I feel like
I think with Pizarro stepping in, and I think when you see like the amount of talent that they have in their roster, and you see some I think fans are thinking that, not saying that they need to win a title, but they need to be part of the final conversation. And I think with their double duty at the Club World Cup and the fact that things haven't been clicking under Aguirre, I think they'll qualify for the playoffs. But I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they were to get knocked out early. And I think it's pretty disappointing for fans, especially if you have Pizarro stepping in. So I think I will be happy for them to prove me wrong, but I think it's Rayados. Yeah.
We saw you got cut off by Televisa,
yeah.
But who would
as soon as I said that, I got cut off, man. No, I was gonna say, now listening to you, Cesar, I would think Monterrey, making so many moves expected.
I'm flabbergasted. I just didn't realize people had so many. I don't think that they're a bad team by any means. I just didn't know that people had so many high expectations for them.
It's also Liga MX's prediction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
how much they spent for the coach that they have, the facility, Monterrey should just be kicking everybody's ass.
Yeah,
it's not the women's.
Yeah.
That's where we get our PG-13 rating.
Ass. That's it. I go. It's not the women's team.
It's definitely not the one. So I'm telling you.
Right.
Liga MX Men.
Right. All right. We got a few minutes left. Liga MX. Well, that was our little wrap up of it. We got some games that are happening today. Toluca has already started. No, it's starting in a few.
Yeah,
And 2 other games that have been right.
Yeah, Santos Tigres play on Wednesday, and then
and then it's Atlas Leon that was like pushed back until later this month.
Yeah. So, we will see. Let's really quick. Mexicans abroad. What Mexicans abroad? Like just.
Hey, Jimenez got an assist in an FA Cup game.
So. Oberlin's in Spain now.
Yeah, Oberlin. They're already hyping him up. Like there's like a video.
Excited.
Did you see that Oberlin gave Celta their most interaction on a tweet than like any?
I was reading the funniest tweet, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I was reading the funniest tweet. Orbelin gets mentioned, right? In Celta, and you have all these people, and then you have like a Mexican guy that says, "Ay, qué pena, los de España. I really hope that they don't think Orbelin is a common name." I was laughing so hard because it's like people. Somebody messaged me. It's like, "Hey, who's what Orbelin?" Like, like I guess it's just so common for us. That name's not a common name, everybody. But anyway,
yeah, I guess it's weird. Yeah, I guess I don't know any other
guy. I got a chance to talk to Orbelin last year for like a good 30-45 minutes. Really humble guy, like probably the most humble person. Like he comes from a very small town in the jungle. Like his dream was to play soccer. Now he's in Europe. I wish the best for him, and I hope everything does well. I think it's going to be tough for Orbelin. So
I don't know. He's definitely a special talent. I think that I'm not saying that he should be starting every game for Old Tri, but I think on the left wing right now, I think he'd be the number 2 option for me. I think I would definitely put him in as a number 2 option or someone off the bench. So hopefully, I mean, and you forget too that this isn't a player who's like in his like 30s or even his late 20s. He's still in his mid 20s, so there's still a possibility there for him to develop his talents. And I feel confident about him. I think other players you do worry a little bit more, but I don't know. I think he'll be able to pull it off in Spain.
So I think he's had one too many questions.
Where are they at in the standings?
Well, I think they're low. They're not the relegation race, but I think they're in the mid-table. Last I checked. I mean, they're no Real Betis.
I haven't looked. Is he played? Is he starting? Is he going to play soon? Have they said no? Right.
They're in a distinguishable 14th place right now.
It's not bad.
They just beat Real Betis. That's right. My boyhood club.
Also, shout out to what. Oh yeah, there you go. Boom, Guardado, Mexican player with the most appearances in Europe. I somehow this like caught me off guard. Did either of you know this was going to happen last weekend? I feel like there would have been more hype about this, but had no idea until I saw.
I told Amy to tweet it.
Yeah, but yeah, I saw. That's what I did. I saw the foot match
after the fact.
What? I was like, hey, my my Excel spreadsheet counter alerted me. Hey, by the way, this is. I feel like no one was talking about that except for us. No idea. 496 surpasses Hugo Sanchez. Shout out to Guardado. And what was it? The message on his tweet, and just like with more like to come, and like with more ahead about more appearances. So he seems like
he's trying to hit 500. So I mean,
and just hits 500 and then signs for New York City FC. Yeah.
Aw. He wouldn't go to if he had to pick an MLS club. He wouldn't go to New York City FC.
He'd go to Atlanta.
Just because the colors. So he's like, yeah, I like this red and black. This looks good.
Yeah,
kind of sounds like Atlas.
He's gonna go to Atlanta and he's gonna grow his hair out like back in 2006. Andrés Guardado, Principito. All right, so
Raul Jimenez with an assist.
Did anybody freak out that he wasn't starting? Just a little bit.
I mean, it's FA Cup.
was
It's
yeah, it was FA Cup,
so-
and then I go, okay, it's FA Cup. Just look,
Arsenal still managed to lose though, so
I'm a little worried because people are not they're not the patience of Raul Jimenez in that team. The plus side is that no one's scoring goals in this. It's not like Raul Jimenez is out and people are scoring goals and it's just the team. The team's doing well, but at the same time, there's not. I think they've only scored like 6 goals this season.
Yeah,
So
I think there's still a little bit. I think there's still a little bit of like patience that's needed with him, though, when you consider the situation. And it seems like fans, because sometimes you are curious when you click on when he subs out, and you're like, oh, I wonder what some fans are saying. And it seems like a lot of fans like really expect him to bounce back at some point soon and are giving him some time. But yeah, I think it's completely understandable that he's not at 100% right now.
He's not like I watch most of the games. It's not like Raul is missing chances or he's getting that many chances. Like, it's not happening. Like, the whole team is not like it used to be. Traore is coming in at the 79th minute. Like, when who was with him last season? That was just the rotations of players that are coming in. So not like Wolves are coming. It's that Raul's kind of like not doing well by himself. I think is like the whole team. So, Chucky, COVID, so he didn't get a chance to play. And
I think that's about it for the major.
Yeah, like that's when I go, what's the Mexicans abroad that's there?
I mean, Johan's doing all right, but it's not like Genoa collectively is doing that great. So
they're gonna get relegated.
Yeah, it's a bad time, man.
It's a bad time, man. Diego Lainez is after the injuries, just cannot catch. Does well a few games, and then I think he's done, which is weird because right before the Olympics, I mean, he was playing, he was helping out the team, he was scoring, but we'll see. I kind of want him to be done from Real Betis. Anybody else we could be talking about?
Did we already say Johan Vazquez? Did Amy say about Johan Vazquez there?
Yeah.
No, okay. I thought I wasn't sure. Yeah.
But all right. Well, let's hope Raul comes back. Let's hold Chucky. We talked about the Catito. I believe this is his last year being at this form that he's at. Johan. Then we have it's like what other players outside from Orbelin. We all see everyone else. I mean, Arteaga, it's doing well, but he's not going to get called up. Although there's some rumors that he might be called up. So we'll see. It's a new.
Hey, maybe Marcelo Flores will make his debut at some point later on this season. Who knows?
Marcelo Flores playing a little bit more with the U20s now.
I saw there was news that he made his debut with the U23 team. I didn't look into it, but that's obviously a promising sign. Yeah,
did well. So, all right. Well, we'll see. All right, 2022. Here we go. Episode 1 out of 52 for this year, at least. We'll see where we're at. When is the World Cup final? Like the.
Isn't it like December 14th or something like that?
Those are the basic questions I should know, but I don't know.
World Cup final date, December 18th.
I was close.
All right.
I know it was like really close to Christmas.
So December 19th, we have our official like party.
Mexico won it all. What a year. What a comeback.
Way to turn it around, Tata. 2022.
Way to turn it around. Piojo coming in as the manager.
Wow.
when they dropped it when they fired Tata in February, brought in Piojo.
Are you implying that Piojo was like Thanos? Their failures brought them right back.
But no, I think we'll see how that goes, and Mexico will make it to they'll make it to the quinto partido. We can just leave it at that. It's happening. It's happening this year. Happening.
I have hope that for some reason, like we get to the World Cup and it's like, all right, it's a totally different team, and we'll see. All right, not to be this is the downer. Well, all right, this has been the Mexican Soccer Show. Thank you, Cesar. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah.
And thank you everybody that joined. All of you guys that are watching, and we'll continue to do this Mondays.
Hey, Monday. That works.
He got frozen again. I'm gonna end the show, guys, because Televisa wants us to just cut this now. We talked too much bad stuff about America. So, so you want to close it out? So